Jake Morrison stood at the big window of the space station. He was an admiral, which meant he was in charge of many people and ships. Today was different from other days. Today, the aliens were coming to Earth. The space around Earth looked normal. This morning, stars twinkled in the distance. The moon was bright and white, but Jake knew this would change soon. His people had been watching alien messages for weeks. The messages said a big alien army was coming to Earth. Lisa Bennett walked up to Jake. She was a commander, which meant she helped Jake make important choices. Lisa held a tablet in her hands. The tablet showed numbers and pictures about the aliens. "Sir, they are here," Lisa said. Her voice was quiet, but serious. Jake looked out the window again. At first, he saw nothing new. Then, like magic, ships began to appear. They were not like human ships. These alien ships looked like they were made of glass and light. They were beautiful, but scary at the same time. "How many ships?" Jake asked. Lisa looked at her tablet. "We count over 300 ships, sir. They are big ships. Much bigger than our ships." Jake felt his heart beat faster. 300 ships was a lot. Each ship probably had many aliens inside. The aliens had come to take over Earth. Rick Carter ran into the room. He was a captain who talked to aliens and other people from different countries. Rick looked worried and excited at the same time. "Admiral Morrison, sir," Rick said. "The aliens are talking to us. They want to speak with Earth's leaders." Jake nodded. "What are they saying?" Rick held up his radio. Strange sounds came out of it. The sounds were like music mixed with wind. Then the radio changed the alien sounds into English words. "People of Earth," the alien voice said, "we are the Zephyrian Galactic Empire. We have come to bring you into our great family. You will join us. You will become part of our empire. This is not a choice. This is what will happen." Jake looked at Lisa and Rick. All three humans were thinking the same thing. The aliens were not asking nicely. They were telling Earth what to do. "Sir," Lisa said, "they are sending more messages. They say all humans must surrender now. They say we must give up our weapons and our government. They say they will make you civilized." Jake felt angry. Earth was already civilized. Humans had built cities and art and music. They had families and friends and dreams. They did not need aliens to make them civilized. Amy Rodriguez came running into the room. She was a doctor who studied science and built amazing things. Amy had been working on a special project for many years. The project was called Terra Shield. "Admiral Morrison," Amy said, breathing hard from running. "The Terra Shield is ready. We can turn it on now." Jake had waited for this moment. Terra Shield was Earth's secret weapon, but it was not a weapon that hurt people. It was a weapon that protected people. "Do it," Jake said. Amy pressed buttons on her tablet. All around Earth, big machines turned on. The machines were hidden under the ground and under the ocean. They had been built in secret over many years. The machines sent out special energy. The energy made a wall around Earth. The wall was invisible, but it was very strong. Nothing could get through the wall without permission from humans. The alien ships tried to fly closer to Earth, but they hit the invisible wall and stopped. The alien ships pushed and pushed, but they could not get through. Jake watched the alien ships bounce off the Terra Shield. It was like watching birds hit a clean window. The aliens were confused and angry. "Sir," Rick said, "the aliens are talking again. They sound very upset." The alien voice came through the radio again. This time, the voice was louder and more angry. "Humans of Earth," the voice said, "you cannot resist us. We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Every species in the galaxy belongs to us. You will open your planet to us now." Jake picked up the radio. It was time for Earth to answer. "This is Admiral Jake Morrison of Earth Defense Command," Jake said into the radio. "Earth is not for sale. Earth is not for taking. We do not want to join your empire. Please leave our solar system." There was silence for a long time. Then the alien voice came back, even more angry than before. "You do not understand," the alien said. "We are the Zephyrian Empire. We rule the galaxy. No one says no to us. No one refuses us. You will surrender, or we will make you surrender." Jake looked at Lisa, Rick, and Amy. They all nodded at him. Earth had made its choice. "No," Jake said into the radio. "We will not surrender. We will not join your empire. Earth is our home, and we will keep it free. Access denied." The alien ships began to move in angry patterns. They fired energy beams at the Terra shield, but the beams bounced off harmlessly. The aliens tried to hack Earth's computers, but human. Computers were too different for them to understand. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Zephyrian Empire had been told no. And the word no was holding strong. Jake looked out at the alien ships. They were still there, still angry, still trying to find a way through the shield. But Earth was safe. Earth was free. "What happens now?" Lisa asked. Jake smiled. "Now we wait. We show them that humans do not give up. We show them that some things are worth fighting for." The battle for Earth's freedom had begun, but it was not a battle with guns or bombs. It was a battle of will, and humans had very strong will. 3 weeks had passed since the alien ships first appeared. The ships were still there, floating at the edge of Earth's solar system like angry wasps. Every day they tried new ways to break through the Terra shield. Every day they failed. Kate Sullivan sat in front of many screens in the deep space listening post. Her job was to listen to alien radio messages and figure out what they meant. Kate had learned to understand the alien language pretty well. What she heard made her both happy and worried. "Admiral Morrison," Kate said into her radio, "the aliens are getting very frustrated. They keep talking about how this has never happened before." Jake Morrison was in his office, drinking coffee and reading reports. He had not slept much in 3 weeks. Every day brought new challenges and new alien tricks. "What exactly are they saying?" Jake asked. Kate listened to her headphones again. The alien voices sounded angry and confused. "They keep saying that every other species in the galaxy surrendered quickly. Some gave up immediately when they saw the alien ships. Others fought for a few hours and then gave up. But humans have been saying no for 3 weeks, and they do not understand why." Jake smiled a little. Humans were stubborn. Everyone knew that. If you told a human they could not do something, they would try twice as hard to do it. Paul Henderson walked into Jake's office. Paul was a general, which meant he was in charge of Earth's army. Paul looked tired but determined. "Jake," Paul said, "I just got off the phone with President Santos. She wants to make sure you know that Earth will not surrender. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever." Jake nodded. Maria Santos was the president of Earth's united government. She had been elected because she was strong and smart and never gave up on anything. "What about the other countries?" Jake asked. "Are they still with us?" Paul sat down in a chair. "Every country on Earth is standing together. Russia, China, India, Brazil, Nigeria, everyone. The aliens picked the wrong planet to mess with." Danny Walsh came running into the office. Danny was a captain who handled talks with aliens and other difficult people. He looked excited. "Sir," Danny said, "the aliens want to talk again, but this time they are not demanding surrender. They are trying to make a deal." Jake raised his eyebrows. "What kind of deal?" Danny pulled out his tablet and read from it. "They say they will let humans keep Earth if we give them the Moon and Mars. They say they will let us have our own government if we promise to never leave our solar system. Jake and Paul looked at each other. Then they both started laughing. Danny, Jake said, tell them that Earth, the Moon, Mars, and every other rock in this solar system belongs to humans. Tell them they can have exactly nothing. Danny grinned. Yes, sir. Should I say it nicely? Be polite, Jake said. But be clear. Access denied means access denied. While Danny went to talk to the aliens, Jake and Paul looked at reports from around the galaxy. Claire Thompson, who worked as Earth's ambassador to other planets, had been receiving strange messages. Paul, Jake said, look at this. Claire says that other alien species are watching what we do. Some of them are secretly cheering for us. Paul read the report. It says here that the Zephyrian Empire controls over 2,000 planets. All of those planets have aliens living on them who were conquered by the Empire. Jake felt a chill. 2,000 planets full of conquered people. All of them watching to see if humans would give up like everyone else had. We cannot let them down, Jake said quietly. Tony Mitchell knocked on the office door. Tony was a doctor who studied alien minds and how they worked. He had been watching the alien ships and trying to understand how aliens thought. Admiral Morrison, Tony said, I think I know why the aliens are so confused by us. Jake waved Tony into the office. Tell me. Tony sat down and pulled out his notes. The Zephyrian Empire is built on the idea that everyone wants to be safe, more than they want to be free. Every species they conquered chose safety over freedom. They gave up their independence to avoid being hurt. Paul frowned. But humans do not think that way. Exactly, Tony said. Humans would rather die free than live as slaves. The aliens literally cannot understand this. Their brains do not work that way. Jake thought about this. So they keep trying the same things over and over because they cannot imagine a species that chooses freedom over safety. Right, Tony said. To them, we are acting crazy. They think we will come to our senses soon and surrender like everyone else. Betty Williams came into the office. Betty was a colonel who worked with secret agents and spies. She had been in contact with resistance groups on other planets. Sir, Betty said, I have some interesting news. The aliens we have been talking to are not the only ones watching us. There are resistance groups on dozens of conquered planets. They are sending us secret messages. Jake sat up straight. What kind of messages? Betty smiled. They are saying thank you. They say that for the first time in hundreds of years, they have hope. They say that if humans can resist the Empire, maybe they can resist too. Paul stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Earth looked peaceful and normal. But Paul knew that beyond the Terra Shield, alien ships were waiting and watching. Jake, Paul said, I think we have accidentally started something big. We just wanted to keep Earth free. But now we might have given hope to the entire galaxy. Jake looked at all the people in his office. Kate, who listened to alien voices. Danny, who talked to enemies. Tony, who understood alien minds. Betty, who worked with secret fighters. Paul, who protected Earth with soldiers. Then we better not let them down, Jake said. We stay strong. We keep saying no. We show the galaxy that freedom is worth fighting. 4. Steve Johnson burst into the office. Steve was a commander who watched what happened on other planets. He looked upset. Sir, Steve said, the aliens are getting mean. They just destroyed a city on one of their conquered planets. They did it to show other planets what happens when people get ideas about freedom. Jake felt angry. The aliens were hurting innocent people because humans would not surrender. Sir, Steve continued, they are sending us videos of the destruction. They want us to see what they will do to other planets if we keep resisting. Jake stood up. His face was hard and determined. Steve, Send a message to every planet in the galaxy. Tell them that Earth will not surrender. Tell them that every person who dies because of our resistance makes us more determined to stay free." The room was quiet for a moment. Then Paul spoke. "Admiral Morrison," Paul said, "I think those aliens just made a big mistake. They think showing us violence will make us afraid. But they just showed us exactly why we can never surrender." Jake nodded. "Get me President Santos on the phone. It is time to tell the galaxy that Earth stands with everyone who wants to be free." The standoff continued. The aliens grew more frustrated every day, but Earth grew stronger. 2 months had passed since the aliens first came to Earth. The standoff was now famous across the entire galaxy. Every planet, every species, every alien civilization was watching to see what would happen between humans and the mighty Zephyrian. Empire. Claire Thompson sat in her office, surrounded by stacks of alien messages. As Earth's ambassador to the galaxy, Claire's job was to talk with aliens from other planets. And now, aliens from everywhere were trying to talk to her. "Admiral Morrison," Claire said into her communicator, "I am getting hundreds of messages every day. Some aliens are warning us that the Empire will destroy us. Others are quietly saying they hope we win." Jake Morrison was in the command center, watching the alien fleet through telescopes. The ships had not moved for weeks. They just floated. There, like they were waiting for something. "What kinds of warnings are we getting?" Jake asked. Claire picked up a message tablet. "This one is from a species called the Karathi. They say the Empire destroyed their planet when they resisted for just 2 days. They say we should surrender before the Empire gets really angry." Jake sighed. "And the other messages?" "This one is from the Valani people," Claire said, picking up another tablet. "They say they have been slaves of the Empire for 300 years. They say they pray for us every day and hope we can stay free." Jake felt the weight of the galaxy watching Earth. Billions of alien people were hoping humans would not give up. Other billions were afraid of what the Empire might do if humans kept fighting. Emperor Vexter was the ruler of the Zephyrian Empire. He lived on a giant ship that was bigger than most cities. For 2 months, he had been getting reports about the humans who would not surrender. Every report made him more angry. "General Zixandra," the Emperor said to his top military leader, "explain to me how one small planet can resist our entire empire." General Zixandra was a tall alien with blue skin and 4 arms. She had conquered hundreds of planets for the Empire, but she had never seen anything like the humans. "Your Majesty," she said, "the humans are different from other species. Most aliens want to survive above all else. They surrender when they see our power. But humans seem to think that some things are more important than survival." The Emperor's eyes flashed with anger. "Nothing is more important than survival. These humans are just too stupid to understand that we are stronger than them." "Perhaps, Your Majesty," General Zixandra said carefully, "but their stupidity is causing problems. Other conquered species are beginning to ask questions. They are wondering why they surrendered if the humans can resist." The Emperor stood up from his throne. "Then we will show the galaxy what happens to species that resist us. Send our most powerful ships to Earth. Show these humans that resistance is useless." Tony Mitchell was in his laboratory, studying everything humans had learned about alien psychology. Tony had been watching how the aliens behaved and trying to understand how their minds worked. "Jake," Tony said into his communicator, "I think I understand something important about these aliens. They are not just angry that we are resisting. They are afraid." Jake was interested. "Afraid of what?" "They have thousands of ships, and we have one planet. They are afraid that their entire empire is built on a lie," Tony said. "The Empire tells everyone that resistance is impossible. But we are proving that resistance is possible. If other species figure this out, the Empire will fall apart," Jake thought about this. So every day we resist, we are proving that the Empire is not as strong as it pretends to be. Exactly, Tony said. And the Empire knows this. That is why they are getting more desperate. Steve Johnson came running into the command center. Steve monitored what was happening on other planets in the galaxy. Sir, Steve said, something big is happening. The aliens are moving their most powerful ships toward Earth. These are not regular Empire ships. These are the ships they use to destroy entire planets. Jake felt his stomach tighten. How many ships? 50 of their biggest warships, Steve said. Each one can destroy a city with one shot. They are coming to Earth right now. Jake pressed a button that connected him to everyone in Earth's government. This is Admiral Morrison. The Empire is sending their most powerful ships to Earth. All defensive systems to maximum alert. Amy Rodriguez was in the Terra Shield control room. Amy had been working day and night to keep the shield strong. The shield had protected Earth for 2 months, but it had never been tested against the Empire's most powerful weapons. Amy, Jake said, can the Terra Shield handle their biggest ships? Amy looked at her computers. Numbers and graphs showed how much energy the shield could absorb. I think so, she said, but it will be close. If they hit us with everything at once, the shield might break. Gary Collins was working with Amy to maintain the shield. Gary was an engineer who understood how the shield machines worked. Admiral Morrison, Gary said, we have been upgrading the shield for 2 months. It is stronger now than when we first turned it on, but these new ships are very powerful. Jake made a decision. Do everything you can to strengthen the shield. If it breaks, Earth is defenseless. Lisa Parker was now in charge of Earth's space defenses. Lisa had been working with other military leaders to prepare for a big attack. Sir, Lisa said, our ships are ready. If the shield fails, we will fight with everything we have. Jake nodded. Good. But remember, our job is not to win a battle. Our job is to survive and stay free. Rachel Davis was a scientist who studied alien technology. Rachel had been analyzing the alien ships and weapons for months. Admiral Morrison, Rachel said, I have been studying how the Empire's weapons work. They are designed to make other species surrender quickly. But they are not designed for a long fight against someone who will not give up. Jake was curious. What do you mean? The Empire has always won by scaring other species, Rachel said. They show their power, and other species surrender. But if someone is not scared and will not surrender, their weapons are not as effective. Alex Foster was monitoring communications from across the galaxy. Alex had been tracking how other species were reacting to the human resistance. Sir, Alex said, something incredible is happening. Species that have been conquered for centuries are starting to rebel. Small groups on dozens of planets are fighting back against the Empire. Jake felt hope and fear at the same time. Hope, because other species were finding courage. Fear, because the Empire would blame humans for the rebellions. The Empire is having to send ships to stop rebellions instead of sending all their ships to Earth, Alex continued. The human resistance is spreading across the galaxy. President Maria Santos called Jake on the emergency communicator. Maria had been leading Earth's government through the crisis. Jake, Maria said, I just received a message from the Empire. They are offering us one last chance to surrender. They say if we give up now, they will let humans live. If we keep fighting, they will destroy Earth and make sure no other species ever tries to resist them. Jake was quiet for a moment. Then he spoke. What should I tell them, Madam President? Maria's voice was strong and clear. Tell them that Earth does not negotiate with bullies. Tell them that humans choose freedom over safety, always. Tell them that we would rather die free than live as slaves. Jake smiled. Yes, Madam President. That is exactly what I will tell them. The most powerful ships in the galaxy were coming to Earth. The Empire's patience was gone. The final test was about to begin. But across the galaxy, on thousands of conquered planets, alien people were watching and hoping. For the first time in centuries, they believed that freedom might be possible. The humans had started something that could not be stopped. The Empire was about to learn that some things are more powerful than the biggest ships and the strongest. Weapons. Sometimes the most powerful thing in the universe is a single word. No. 6 months had passed since the first alien ships appeared at Earth. The giant alien warships had been attacking the Terra Shield for 3 months. Every day, they fired their most powerful weapons at the invisible wall protecting Earth. Every day, the shield held strong, but the attacks were getting stronger. Amy Rodriguez stood in the shield control room, watching red warning lights flash on her computers. The Terra Shield was still working, but it was getting weaker. Admiral Morrison. Amy said into her communicator, "The shield is holding, but just barely. If they keep attacking like this for another month, it might break." Jake Morrison was in the command center, looking tired and worried. He had not been home in weeks. None of Earth's leaders had rested much since the aliens came. "Amy," Jake said, "what do you need to make the shield stronger?" "More power," Amy said. "We are using every power plant on Earth to keep the shield running. But their weapons are so strong that we need even more energy." Gary Collins was working next to Amy, trying to repair shield generators that had been damaged by the alien attacks. Gary's hands were dirty, and he looked exhausted. "Sir," Gary said, "people all over Earth are turning off their lights and air conditioning to save power for the shield. Everyone is doing everything they can to help." Jake felt proud of humanity. When the aliens came, every person on Earth had worked together. Rich and poor, young and old. People from every country had united to keep Earth free. Lisa Parker was commanding Earth's space defenses from a ship near the moon. Lisa had been watching the alien attacks and planning how to fight back if the shield failed. "Admiral Morrison," Lisa said, "if the shield breaks, we have about 200 human ships ready to fight. The alien ships are bigger and stronger, but we will not give up." Jake knew that 200 human ships against thousands of alien ships was not a fair fight. But humans had never worried about fair fights. They just worried about fighting for what was right. Rachel Davis was in her laboratory, studying pieces of alien technology that had been floating in space. Rachel had been working day and night to understand how the alien weapons worked. "Jake," Rachel said, "I have learned something important. The alien weapons are designed to break shields quickly, but our shield is different from other shields. In the galaxy, it is designed to bend instead of break." Jake was interested. "What does that mean?" "It means their weapons are not as effective against us as they are against other species," Rachel said. "Every other species in the galaxy uses shields that try to stop attacks completely. Our shield absorbs the attacks and spreads the energy around the planet." Jake smiled a little. "So we are surviving their attacks better than they expected." "Much better," Rachel said. "I think that is why they are getting so frustrated." Jerry Baker was monitoring the alien fleet from a secret observation post. Jerry had been watching how the aliens behaved and had noticed something important. "Sir," Jerry said, "the aliens are starting to have problems. Some of their ships are leaving the fleet. I think they are having to deal with rebellions on other planets." Jake felt hope. "How many ships have left?" "About 100 ships have left in the past month," Jerry said. "They are being sent to planets where conquered species are fighting back." Jake realized what this meant. The human resistance was inspiring other species to fight for freedom. But this was forcing the Empire to split their forces. Kevin Martinez was working with the diplomatic team, monitoring messages from across the galaxy. Kevin had been tracking how the Empire was responding to rebellions on other planets. "Admiral Morrison," Kevin said, "the Empire is getting desperate. They are being much more violent with rebellions than they used to be. They are destroying entire cities to scare other species." Jake felt sick. Innocent people were dying because humans had inspired them to fight for freedom. "Sir," Kevin continued, "but the rebellions are not stopping. Even when the Empire destroys a city, more people join the resistance. The Empire's violence is making more people hate them." Julie Turner was Earth's new ambassador to the growing galactic resistance. Julie had been secretly communicating with resistance groups on dozens of planets. "Jake," Julie said, "I have been talking to resistance leaders across the galaxy. They want to coordinate their attacks with our defense of Earth." Jake was surprised. "What do you mean?" "They want to attack Empire ships and bases at the same time," Julie said. "If we can keep the Empire busy trying to break our shield and other species attack Empire forces everywhere else, the Empire will not be able to handle all the fighting." Jake thought about this. It was a dangerous plan. If it worked, it could free the entire galaxy. If it failed, the Empire would probably destroy Earth and every other planet that had rebelled. "What do the resistance leaders say about the risks?" Jake asked. Julie's voice was serious. "They say they have been slaves for so long that they would rather die fighting than live as prisoners. They say humans showed them that freedom is possible, and now they want to be free too." Jake felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. Billions of people were looking to Earth for leadership. If humans failed, everyone who had rebelled would probably die. President Maria Santos called Jake on the emergency communicator. Maria had been working with world leaders to make important decisions about the war. "Jake," Maria said, "I have been talking to leaders from every country on Earth. We have made a decision about the galactic resistance." Jake waited to hear what the decision was. "We will coordinate with the resistance," Maria said. "But we will not tell them what to do. Each species must make their own choice about freedom. We will support anyone who chooses to fight for freedom, but we will not force anyone to fight." Jake nodded. "That sounds like the right thing to do." "There is something else," Maria said. "The Empire has sent us a final message. They say if we surrender now, they will only enslave humanity. If we keep fighting, they will destroy Earth and everyone on it." Jake was quiet for a moment. "What should I tell them?" "Tell them that humans chose freedom a long time ago," Maria said. "Tell them that we would rather die free than live as slaves. Tell them that some things are more important than survival." Nancy Wright was the fleet admiral in charge of all human space forces. Nancy had been preparing for the possibility that the Terra Shield would fail and humans would have to fight in space. "Admiral Morrison," Nancy said, "our ships are ready. Our pilots are ready. If the shield fails, we will fight with everything we have." Jake knew that Nancy's ships would probably all be destroyed in a fight with the Empire's massive fleet. But he also knew that humans would fight to the last person to keep Earth free. "Nancy," Jake said, "make sure all our pilots know that they are not just fighting for Earth. They are fighting for the freedom of the entire galaxy." "They know, sir," Nancy said. "They are proud to fight for freedom." The alien attacks on the Terra Shield were getting stronger every day, but the human will to resist was getting stronger too. Every day that Earth survived proved that the mighty Empire could be resisted. Across the galaxy, on thousands of planets, conquered species were watching and learning. They were seeing that freedom was possible if you were willing to fight for it. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years, but they had never faced an enemy that would not surrender. They had never fought a species that thought freedom was more important than life itself. The battle for Earth was becoming a battle for the freedom of the entire galaxy. And humans were teaching everyone that some things are worth any price. Price of freedom was high, but the price of slavery was higher. 1 year had passed since the Zephyrian Empire first came to Earth. The Terra Shield was still holding, but it was weaker than ever before. The alien attacks had been constant for months, and the shield was starting to crack in some places. But something else was happening in the galaxy. Something the Empire had never seen before. Hundreds of planets were rebelling at the same time. The Empire's mighty fleet was spread thin, trying to stop rebellions everywhere. Jake Morrison stood in the command center, reading reports from across the galaxy. Each report told the same story. Species that had been enslaved for centuries were fighting back. The human example had given them hope, and hope had given them courage. Admiral Morrison, Jerry Baker said, I have been watching the alien fleet. They are confused and scared. They keep getting orders to leave Earth and help stop rebellions on other planets. Jake looked at the screen showing the alien ships. There were fewer ships now than there had been 6 months ago. Many had been sent to fight rebellions elsewhere. How many ships are left? Jake asked. About 200, Jerry said. But they are the biggest and strongest ships. The Empire is keeping their most powerful weapons here, because they know that if Earth falls, the rebellions will probably fail too. Jake understood. Earth had become a symbol of freedom for the entire galaxy. If the Empire could break Earth, they could break the spirit of every other rebellion. Amy Rodriguez was in the shield control room, working with emergency power systems. The Terra Shield was using so much energy that power plants all over Earth were running at maximum capacity. Jake, Amy said, the shield is still working, but it cannot take much more. If they hit us with everything they have, the shield might break. Jake felt the weight of the galaxy on his shoulders. Billions of people were counting on Earth to stay free. If the shield failed, the hope of freedom might die with it. Amy, Jake said, do whatever you need to do. Use every bit of power on Earth if you have to. We cannot let the shield fail. Kevin Martinez was monitoring communications from the Empire's ships. Kevin had learned to understand the alien language very well over the past year. Sir, Kevin sighed, the aliens are getting desperate. Their emperor is sending them angry messages every day. He is telling them that they must break Earth's defenses or the entire empire will fall. Jake was interested. What exactly is the emperor saying? Kevin put the alien message through the translator. The emperor's voice was full of rage and fear. You have failed me for 1 year, the emperor's voice said. One small planet has resisted the entire empire. Every day they resist, more species rebel against us. If you cannot break the humans, the empire will collapse. Jake realized that the emperor was right. The empire was falling apart. The human resistance had inspired a galactic revolution. Rachel Davis came running into the command center. Rachel had been studying the alien ships and had discovered something important. Jake, Rachel said, I have been analyzing the alien ship. Movements. They are preparing for one final attack. They are going to use every weapon they have at the same time. Jake felt his heart race. When? Tomorrow, Rachel said. They are moving all their ships into position. They are going to try to break the shield with one massive attack. Jake pressed the emergency communication button. This is Admiral Morrison to all Earth defense personnel. The aliens are preparing their final attack. All systems to maximum. Alert. President Maria Santos called Jake immediately. Maria had been leading Earth's government through the entire crisis. Jake, Maria said, is the shield strong enough to survive their final attack? Jake looked at Amy, who was shaking her head sadly. I do not know, Madam President. Amy says it will be close. Maria was quiet for a moment. Jake, I want you to know that whatever happens tomorrow, humanity is proud of what we have accomplished. We have shown the galaxy that freedom is possible. We have given hope to billions of people." Jake felt tears in his eyes. "Thank you, Madam President." "And Jake," Maria said, "if the shield fails, we fight. We fight until the last person. We show the galaxy that humans never surrender." That night, Jake could not sleep. He walked around the command center, looking at all the people who had worked so hard to keep Earth free. They were tired and scared, but they were determined. Lisa Parker called from her ship near the moon. "Admiral Morrison, our ships are ready. If the shield fails, we will buy Earth as much time as we can." Nancy Wright called from the main fleet. "Sir, all pilots are ready. We know we probably cannot win, but we will fight anyway." Julie Turner called from the diplomatic center. "Jake, I have been talking to resistance leaders across the galaxy. They are all attacking Empire forces at the same time as the Empire attacks us. If we can survive, the Empire will be too weak to control the galaxy." Jake felt hope mixed with fear. Tomorrow would decide the fate of the entire galaxy. The next morning, the alien ships moved into attack formation. Jake watched from the command center as 200 of the Empire's most powerful ships prepared to fire everything they had at Earth. "All ships fire," came the alien commander's voice over the radio. The space around Earth lit up like a second sun. Energy beams, plasma bolts, and weapons that humans had never seen before all hit the Terra shield at the same time. The shield glowed bright, white, then red, then began to flicker. Amy Rodriguez watched her computers as alarms rang everywhere. "The shield is failing," she shouted. "I cannot hold it much longer." But then something unexpected happened. Just as the alien weapons were about to break through the shield, explosions began appearing among the alien ships. Other ships, ships that did not belong to the Empire, were attacking the alien fleet. "Sir," Jerry Baker shouted, "resistance ships from across the galaxy are here. They came to help us." Jake could not believe what he was seeing. Hundreds of ships from dozens of different species were fighting the Empire fleet. The Galactic Rebellion had come to Earth. "This is Captain Zara of the Free Karafi Fleet," a voice said over the radio. "Earth taught us that freedom is possible. Now we fight together for freedom." "This is Commander Vex of the Velani Resistance," another voice said. "We have been slaves for 300 years. Today we fight to be free." More voices joined the radio. Species from across the galaxy, all fighting together against the Empire that had enslaved them. The alien attack on the Terra shield stopped as the Empire ships had to defend themselves against the Resistance fleet. Amy quickly worked to repair the shield while the aliens were distracted. "The shield is stabilizing," Amy called out. "The pressure is off." Jake watched the battle in space. The Resistance ships were smaller than the Empire ships, but there were many more of them. And they were fighting with the fury of people who had been enslaved for too long. Kevin Martinez was monitoring Empire communications. "Sir, the Empire ships are in panic. They are getting reports of rebellions and attacks from every corner of the galaxy. The Empire is collapsing." On the Empire's command ship, Emperor Vexter watched his fleet being attacked by his former slaves. He could not understand how this had happened. 1 year ago, his empire had ruled the galaxy without question. "Your Majesty," General Zixandra said, "we are receiving surrender requests from our forces on dozens of planets. The rebellions are everywhere. We cannot stop them all." The Emperor's face was full of rage and disbelief. "How did one planet 'cause all of this?" "The humans never surrendered," General Zixandra said quietly. "They showed the galaxy that resistance was possible. Every day they held out, more species found the courage to fight back. The Emperor realized his empire was doomed. The foundation of his power had been the belief that resistance was impossible, but the humans had proven that wrong. "Order all ships to retreat," the Emperor said finally. We cannot win this battle. Jake could not believe what he was hearing. Over the radio, the Empire ships were retreating. After 1 year of trying to conquer Earth, they were giving up. "This is Admiral Morrison to all resistance forces," Jake said into the radio. "The Empire is retreating. Freedom has won." Cheers came from ships across the solar system. Humans and aliens celebrating together. Species that had never met before were now allies in freedom. But the celebration was interrupted by one final message from Emperor Vexther. "Humans of Earth," the Emperor's voice said, "you have destroyed my empire. You have doomed yourselves to eternal isolation. No species can survive alone in the galaxy. You will regret this day." Jake picked up the radio to respond to the Emperor one last time. "Emperor Vexther," Jake said, "we were never alone. Every species that chooses freedom is our friend. Every person who refuses to be a slave is our ally. You taught the galaxy to be afraid. We taught the galaxy to be brave." The Empire fleet disappeared into hyperspace, broken and defeated. The mighty Zephyrian Empire that had ruled the galaxy for 1,000 years was finished. In the days that followed, representatives from hundreds of free worlds came to Earth. They wanted to form a new galactic alliance based on freedom and cooperation. Instead of conquest and slavery, Jake stood in the same spot where he had first seen the alien ships 1 year ago. But now, instead of enemy ships, he saw ships from across the galaxy. Ships full of free people who had come to thank humanity for, showing them that freedom was possible. President Maria Santos joined Jake at the window. "What do you think happens now?"